Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Clap, 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 clap. Clappity, clap, clap, clap. Yes, I miss the studio audience so much, but we will be reunited, y'all. Don't you worry your pretty little heads. So, yes, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. For all of my new listeners, new episodes drop every Thursday for the most part, like 95% of the time. I talk about my life, my interests, and the ways I'm trying to grow. So come on back through, you feel me? And for all of my day 1, 2, 76, 143, 206, right? Whatever week you came in and you just came back, thank you. I appreciate you. And yes, let's get into this Christmas Eve recap. So, at the time of this recording, shout out to 12 Kyle, we are 3 days post Christmas Eve. And why I am saying Christmas Eve and not Christmas is because at my church, now, if you are on staff at my church or serve on the creative team or whatever, and you're around, you know we call them encounters. We don't call them church services. However, for the purposes of this episode, using language that is common to the rest of the world, I'm going to call it church service, just so y'all know what I'm talking about. Now, anywho, we have Christmas Eve service on Christmas Eve, regardless of whether Christmas Eve is on a Sunday or on a Tuesday. It's always been that way. And it used to be that we would have it Christmas Eve and then maybe not have church on that Sunday afterwards, depending on when Christmas Eve was. Now, part of that I think was because we used to be in a high school and we would have Christmas Eve service it's called the Orpheum Theater, I think, the Orpheum something. If you live in Omaha, you know what it is. If you don't, it's like a place where they'll have like the Nutcracker, or I don't even really know what they have there. They may have concerts. I don't know. I've been there for like random stuff outside of Christmas Eve service. However, we would have Christmas Eve service there, right? And so the thing about that is that we're in a building now, so it's a little different. Either way, we still have Christmas Eve service. And this year, I don't know if it's because Christmas Eve fell on a Sunday or if they would have done that regardless. But we had 4 services, so 9, 11, 1, and 3. And this year, I was a part of the choir. So that meant that I would have been there all day. Not would have, I was. That means I had to be there, got to, get to, whatever. That means I was there all day. So I had to be there by 7. I got there before 7. And then we all had to help tear down and all that. So I didn't leave until after 5. It probably was after 5:30. And so it was a long day, and I've been at this church for 10 years, but this is my first time being on this side of things where I'm participating and not just showing up. Because when I've been a part of the creative team for years, but never at all in the capacity that I am now. So I really learned a lot about what goes into Christmas Eve, but also it was different this year. We do a lot more content than we used to in the past because the world has just become more and more digital since COVID. And so it's been so interesting because there was a lot. We had our creative team Christmas party on the 17th. And then, so that was a Sunday. And then it's like from the 17th to the 24th, it was pretty much something, not every day because Friday is our like Sabbath or whatever, but there was pretty much something every day. And it was it was a time to be alive. There were so many long days, like so many early mornings, and then not super late, like 10, 11 at night. But here's the thing with Gizmo. Let me tell you about Gizmo Dewan. Yeah, I'm up here. I keep having to grab toys from him because when I pick up the mic and I'm about to record, I tell this little doggy, right? I tell him, hey, I'm about to record, so I need you to be quiet. Now it's on me that I forgot to grab his noisy toys and like put them up, because that's what I did last week is I put them up and so he couldn't squeak them. I forgot to do that. And so one by one, I'm having to take them from him because as I grab one, then he goes and grabs the other. And then he looks at me like I'm crazy when I take it from him. Like as we speak, he is heading in to grab the other one that I'm about to take from him. Hopefully he just leaves it there. But anyway, so yes, Christmas Eve, the week leading up to it was just super, super busy. And that plus, I mean, I still do my subcontracting work, although that is just really shifting and life is shifting and things are shifting. And I don't know why he keep trying to play with me. Now what? There's no more. How about you just sit down? Good boy. Anywho, it was a busy week. And then on Christmas, it was super dope because my family didn't do anything until I think 6, we decided to start. So just dinner. And so I got so many hours just by myself. And what's crazy about my life and the way it's set up is that I am not at all an extrovert. However, for as far back as I can remember, my life and just the things that the Lord invites me into have like really required me to have extroverted tendencies, but I am not an extrovert. Now, I love people. So in case you're confused about an introvert thinking it means that we don't like people, that is not at all what it means. I love people, especially the people that like there are just some people in my life that I could be around them for hours and hours and hours, even if it's just in their presence and they may be like working or doing something else and I'm just around them. Like I love people like that. But being an introvert does not mean that I don't like people. It just means that being around people takes a lot of energy from me. And it means that being by myself is how I am refreshed. Whereas with an extrovert, extroverts are refreshed being around people. So that's literally the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. Now, being an introvert and also being on the creative team in the role that I have, where like I pray for them a lot, send a lot of encouragement. I plan, our team outings. I make sure to celebrate birthdays and all that. So because of that, and there's so much communication from me, a lot of in our like Slack channel or whatever, a lot of people know who I am, or I not deal with, but like interact with a lot of people. Cause like if I'm planning something, I'm gonna be there. I'm not gonna plan something and then not be there. You know what I mean? And so with that, lots and lots and lots of extroverting happened, plus choir rehearsal and like production run-throughs and dress rehearsals and just all the things. And so what I loved. And then on Christmas Eve, after all of that stuff related to church, the family that I'm staying with, we went to the wife's, like her mom's house for dinner. That was fine though, because there was like way less people. It's low key. We're really just kind of eating. And plus, the family that I stay with, they're like my parents. I love them anyway. So like they are people that I could be around, and it's life-giving being around them. But I say all that to say, though, that was a lot of peopling. That was a lot of pouring out. First of all, shout out to the people who like for our worship team, or anybody who does worship, or anybody who does any sort of singing at all. I literally had no idea how much physical energy that singing takes, how much preparation. Like, my biggest concern was that my voice would give out because we were singing for 4 services. Mind you, I've never sang in one service. I mean, like, worshiping on my own, sure, but like, yeah, so I was nervous about that. And so just, I took so many precautions leading up to it. Like the night before, I was on like vocal rest. Now I wasn't like completely not talking, but I was not talking a lot, and like drinking electrolyte water to make sure I'm hydrating, and throat coat tea and all that stuff. And then even during, like, making sure to hydrate. And I had my electrolyte water, but then I also had a cup of throat coat tea. And then there was this point where I was like coughing, so like somebody gave me some cough drops. And it's interesting just how much, I mean, they all know, I asked the experts, like, hey, how can I like prepare my throat? Pause. Super pause. How can I prepare myself, to not have my voice give out or whatever? And my throat wasn't sore the next day or any of that. So I feel good about what I did. But listen, physically, there's a lot that goes into singing. Like, yeah, we're up there worshiping the Lord, but still, like, we're physically using energy. And so it was very much a lot, you know what I'm saying? And so then Monday morning, when it was Christmas and I was by myself and just had all that time by myself, that was beautiful. Like, that was probably my favorite part about Christmas, was the time that I had to myself. Don't get me wrong, I had so much fun with my family. It's my grandbaby's first Christmas. So that was great, you know what I'm saying? Food was good times, whatever. I actually ended up My youngest brother hosted, and I was the last one to leave, and man, it might have been almost 1 when I left. So far past my curfew and my bedtime even, like, but that was my favorite part of Christmas, was the time that I had to myself. And it's so interesting because I do so much peopling now, because with my role, and like, things are going to be shifting where it's going to be, yeah, just more to come on that later. But like, just, there's going to be a shift in my life and the way things have been, where I haven't been in an office culture in over 3 years. And then I'm like integrating back into that. And I kind of talked about that last week. And so it's a lot of peopling, and it's a lot of learning how to, I got so used to being by myself for the most part, and like working from home when I was at my previous job, or meeting with clients, and then doing everything like a lot of solo stuff. So then it's like having to learn how to navigate going back to being in an office at times, but then also just all the peopling that I do. And so I'm really having to just, like, one of the things I know is that I need to get up at least like 2 to 3 hours before I need to leave, so that I can have enough time by myself to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepare to people. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of energy. But then also, like, I'm learning that when I'm in social settings, and if it's like a group setting and everybody's talking and they're talking about stuff that, especially, I'm around a lot of men and they get to talking about sports. And don't get me wrong, I'll watch football or basketball or whatever. Like, I like sports, but men be so like so serious and they just have such serious conversation about it, and it's just so funny how quickly I will just zone out. But for me, what I'm realizing is in social settings like that where I almost like internally retreat because I'm withdrawing from the conversation because and but like kind of listening in case they call my name or something like that. But I've noticed that that is a good way for me to like kind of like refresh and recharge myself. Because remember, as an introvert, it's that being alone refreshes me. So like my man, when I get like several hours by myself and I start my day like that, those are usually the best days ever. Usually, and it doesn't mean that, negative things don't happen in the day. It's just I'm so refreshed and I've done so much to take care of myself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually that the rest of the day doesn't have as much of an effect on me. I am not a wake up, roll out of bed, rush out the door type of person. I'm not saying I've never done that because there have been days where I've had to do that. It's just not a good thing for me mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. You know what I mean? And so it's really interesting because in the past couple weeks, I've really just learned even more about myself, not because I've been by myself, because I learned a ton about myself in the season of, it was almost like a season of isolation. I mean, I would be around people, but not nearly as much as I am now. Like, even, like I said, I switched gyms, and a lot of the people that I'll just say work with, go to church with, whatever, a lot of them go to the same gym as me. And so right now we're all off. And I usually try to go to the gym in the morning, but since I don't really have to be anywhere early, I've been going to all the noon classes this week because it's like I just want this to feel like I'm off, even though technically I'm still doing my subcontracting work. But even with that, those appointments aren't until later in the day because those appointments are not before 3:30 typically. And so yeah, I've been going to the noon classes, and it's been really cool because I'm seeing people, and we're working out together, and I'm proud of myself because they were closed Sunday and Monday. I wouldn't have gone to the gym Sunday anyway. Probably would have Monday, but obviously it was Christmas. And so I didn't go, but I went yesterday and I went today. Thursday isn't like they don't have classes on Thursday, so I don't go Thursday, and then I'll go Friday, and I'll get my 3 days in this week. And then I also clean the equipment on Saturdays cuz that's just a way so that I can get half off my membership. And I look at it two ways. One, it like is a way to save money for sure, but then two, it is almost like I'm getting a bonus workout because I'm having to like kind of move equipment around, and it probably takes like a couple hours to just literally just wiping down the equipment. And but there's some where it's like, okay, the rowers, you got to pull them down, wipe them down, and then put them back up. The weights, you got to wipe them off. The ones that are too heavy for me to lift, I don't have to lift them up and wipe underneath, but the ones that are not too heavy for me to lift, I, wipe underneath or whatever. And so it's just, that's almost like a bonus workout. And it's just like people will say hi to me and stuff like that because I'm there, but for the most part, it's like busy work. And that's what I love about the stuff that I do currently. We'll just say project management with the creative team. What I love about that is there are projects and there are tasks, and there is a start and an end point that is clear and defined. So once we complete this project board, we archive it. And for me, someone who likes to check off to-do lists because it gives me a sense of completion. And it's so interesting because within my role, there's lots of pouring out to people and being there for people and all that. So it's like such an interesting like culmination of all the things that are like it's meaningful work for sure, and then it's working with people in a meaningful way. So like that's always the type of work I've done. That's why I've been in the social work field. It's in the creative world, which that is like I get to do so many different things with that. And then it's also there are project boards, or there is like a start and end to a project. And so what I love about that, because like with the social work field, stuff can be almost feel like never ending as far as like the struggles that people have. Whereas with this, it's not that. Though, don't get me wrong, sometimes people go through stuff that you're walking with them through that it may be never ending, but it's like that's not the heavy basis, or like that's not the main part of my role, I should say. And so yeah, it's been really interesting just figuring out how to navigate just this new season. And I've felt really good about being back on track with working out. And that's the interesting thing too, is that I'm around people that go to the same gym that or attend the same classes that I attend or whatever. So it's kind of like you get into this, well, if I don't see you here and I normally come, someone's going to ask, well, why weren't you at class, or, stuff like that. And so it just gives just extra accountability, which really has just ensured that I'm like on it. I feel like honestly, even more than I was before, and I was on it, but I don't know, it's just different this go around. And maybe I'm just in a different space because there were stressors then that I don't have currently. So it could be that. I don't know. But yeah, this is how things have been. It's crazy to think that this is the last episode of 2023. It's crazy to think about the fact that 2023 is coming to an end. This has been the weirdest year ever. There have been like so many changes in my life that were so unexpected that you couldn't have told me a year ago that my life would in any way, shape, or form look like what it is right now. Like at all. And you know me, y'all that been around, I allude to a lot of stuff, and then allude to a lot of stuff. Good Lord. And then I'll tell y'all more about it later. So there's a lot I'm leaving out right now just because it just it is what it is for right now. But like, yeah, my life, it's just very, very interesting how things have changed in 2023. But what I will say about 2023 is it has definitely been a year of healing, and healing in a different way, because I'm all about healing. I'm all about being healthy and all that. Y'all know that. But like previously, healing has really been pruning away things, people, places, maybe even mindsets or habits or whatever. It's been a lot of um digging into pain and forgiving and this, that, and the other. And that was important. And that still happens, just maybe not as intensely depending on what it is. But it's like now what healing has looked like is learning how to walk in the freedom that I fought so hard to achieve. And so it's been really interesting. It's been like learning how to interact healthier ways in different relationships, and learning how to receive love from people. And I don't necessarily mean like I'm not dating anyone, so I don't mean like that. But even sometimes in friendship, it's hard to receive love depending on how wounded you've been. It's hard to have healthy relationships, even healthy friendships, because you don't know how to navigate and just be healthy yourself because of your own wounds. And so like that's what healing has looked like in this year. And it's been there have definitely been challenges. I mean, I'm an empty nester now. That's still an adjustment. I feel like I'm a little more used to it, I guess, than I was before when I used to cry every day. But you couldn't have told me that would have been a thing because I just, didn't think it would be a thing. But it's been a good thing for me though. It's been a good season as I've mainly just focused on myself. Yeah, I focus on other people, of course, because of the work that I do, but I mean like but when I come home, I'm pretty much just focused on myself, you know what I mean, as far as in regards to my kids and stuff. So it's just been a very, very interesting year, but I believe all of this has been a setup for what's to come in 2024. Now, some things I know are going to, I know some of the changes that are going to happen in 2024, more to come on that. But I also know there are definitely obviously going to be things that I don't know are going to happen because you couldn't have told me, like I said, that at the end of 2023, my life would be the way that it is. And it's crazy because it's not the way that it is. That's not a bad thing. It's just, it's crazy what I get to do as far as the work that I get to do. It's crazy just the relationships that have become so important to me that, I mean, at the beginning of the year, either I knew these people and didn't know them like that, or I might not have known them at all, or maybe I did know them, but they've become even that much more important to me. It's just been such an interesting year. And so, yeah, this is my last episode of 2023. It's just so mind blowing to me that it is about to come to a close. And so, as always, I just pray that you are doing what you got to do to take care of yourself mentally, do what you got to do to take care of yourself emotionally, do what you got to do to take care of yourself spiritually and physically. And all of those things are important to do within yourself so that you can be healthy in your relationships, which is also important. I hope y'all have a great new year. Like, I will literally, the next time you hear the sound of my voice it'll be next year. So see y'all next year. Talk to y'all next year. That's like one of my favorite jokes this time of year because it's true. You won't hear from me till next year, but it's just funny because even if I see somebody on the 31st and I'm going to see them tomorrow, I won't say see you tomorrow. Oh, no. It's see you next year. Like, that is, once Christmas comes, that whole from Christmas to New Year's Day, that season, it's all about the see you next year. So yeah, y'all, the next time that y'all hear from me will be next year. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to y'all next year. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for